The journey from snake eggs to high-end luxury bags begins in an environment that feels more like a scientific lab than a factory. Inside the snake leather production facilities, every stage of transformation is carefully monitored, from hatching and growth to tanning, cutting, and the final crafting of products that eventually sell for thousands of dollars in elite boutiques. It's a process that bridges biology, craftsmanship, and controversy. One that fascinates as much as it disturbs. The snakes used in these processes are typically pythons or water snakes, bred in controlled environments designed to mimic their natural habitats. Workers ensure consistent temperature, humidity, and feeding schedules, all to optimize skin quality. Eggs are incubated under strictly regulated heat conditions, and once hatched, the snakes are monitored for size, color, and health. The goal isn't simply survival, but perfection. Scales that are evenly patterned, unblemished, and supple enough to become luxury leather. Every scale matters because in the world of exotic fashion, the quality of a single skin can determine whether it ends up as a handbag for a celebrity or discarded as factory waste. As the snakes mature, they're carefully handled, often by trained professionals who have spent years understanding reptilian behavior. Once they reach the desired length and girth, the next stage begins, and it's here that the process takes a darker turn. The harvesting of snake leather remains one of the most controversial practices in the luxury industry. In regulated environments, snakes are dispatched quickly, often through methods designed to minimize suffering. However, the debate about ethical sourcing continues, with animal rights groups questioning whether true humane standards can ever exist in exotic leather production. The industry counters with claims of sustainability. Many farms are certified and audited, ensuring that snakes are not taken from the wild and that breeding populations are maintained responsibly. After harvesting, the real artistry begins. The skins are first washed and treated to remove residues before entering the tanning process, the critical stage that transforms perishable skin into durable, flexible leather. Traditional tanneries use chemical tanning with chromium salts, but high-end facilities often prefer vegetable tanning or hybrid methods to retain the natural sheen of the scales. Workers meticulously stretch each skin, ensuring it dries evenly without cracking or discoloration. It's grueling, technical work that requires a craftsman's eye. Any imperfection could ruin a piece worth hundreds of dollars. Some of the finest leathers are even hand-tanned using proprietary mixtures that remain trade secrets passed down for generations. Once the skin is stabilized, coloring begins. Luxury brands demand precision. Each shade must match their brand identity perfectly. Expert colorists use airbrushes and layering techniques to produce gradients, metallic finishes, or deep matte tones. A single python skin can go through dozens of color tests before approval. The result is a mesmerizing texture, scales that shimmer differently under light, giving snake leather its unmistakable allure. Every piece tells a natural story. No two skins are identical, which makes every final product truly one of a kind. The next stage, cutting, is where art meets geometry. Skilled artisans lay out the skins according to the design of handbags, belts, or shoes, ensuring that the natural pattern flows seamlessly across the surface. A python bag, for instance, may require up to 3 whole skins to achieve symmetry. Cutting is done manually, often with surgical precision. One wrong move could ruin thousands of dollars worth of material. Once cut, the pieces are backed with soft leather linings to reinforce strength and then stitched together using fine threads under magnification. Some luxury brands even require double stitching to guarantee longevity and a flawless finish. But there's an undeniable ethical duality to this process. On one hand, it's a story of craftsmanship, of artisans transforming raw natural material into objects of art. On the other, it's a stark reminder of how industries commodify life in the pursuit of beauty and status. Critics argue that no matter how sustainable the farms claim to be, the concept of raising animals for their skin is inherently problematic. Yet, supporters counter that regulated snake farms reduce poaching, sustain local economies, and even contribute to ecological balance by managing species populations under controlled environments. The reality, as always, lies somewhere in between, complex, layered, and uncomfortable. Interestingly, the snake leather trade also sustains entire communities in Southeast Asia, particularly in Thailand, Indonesia, and Vietnam. Local workers, many of whom have inherited these skills through generations, rely on this craft for livelihood. They handle every stage, from feeding the snakes to cutting, tanning, and exporting the skins. For them, it's not just work, it's cultural craftsmanship, a fusion of tradition and trade. While global consumers see only the glamorous end product, the workers see the continuum, life, death, and transformation woven together in one cycle of survival and artistry. Yet, for now, traditional snake leather remains in demand, especially in high-fashion markets across Asia and the Middle East. Collectors view these pieces not just as accessories, but as investments, tangible representations of craftsmanship and exclusivity. The rarity of authentic, high-quality skins ensures their continued value. Each piece of snake leather carries a kind of primal allure, the connection to something wild, ancient, and exotic. It evokes both fascination and fear, beauty and danger, emotions that fashion has always known how to exploit brilliantly. The entire ecosystem of snake leather production is thus a paradox, equal parts art and exploitation, science and instinct, nature and commerce. It represents humanity's eternal attempt to control and repurpose the natural world, turning something as primal as a reptile's scales into a symbol of luxury. Standing in a snake leather factory, one can almost feel that duality. The clinical hum of machinery mingling with the raw, organic presence of something once alive. Every finished handbag is a story of hands that crafted it, of scales that shimmered under tropical sunlight, of choices that walk the tightrope between ethics and elegance. How an egg hatches into a creature, how that creature becomes a canvas, and how that canvas becomes a masterpiece carried on the arms of the world's elite. It's a story of metamorphosis, beauty born from nature, and a reminder that luxury, at its core, is often the most complicated expression of humanity's relationship with the natural world. Inside the snake leather factory is not just a story of industrial production. It's a story of contradictions between beauty and brutality, luxury and life, sustainability and exploitation. When you walk through the doors of such a factory, the air is thick with both fascination and discomfort. On one side, you witness the incredible craftsmanship, workers handling every skin with surgical precision, transforming a raw, scaled texture into something supple, glossy, and incredibly valuable. On the other hand, you can't ignore the reality that this luxury begins with the capture and sacrifice of living creatures. The process begins long before the skins even arrive at the factory. Many of these snakes are farmed, raised from eggs under controlled conditions to ensure uniformity in size and skin pattern. This farming process is designed to make the leather industry more sustainable, at least on paper. It reduces hunting pressure on wild populations, allowing breeders to manage growth rates and reproduction cycles. Yet, critics argue that even these farms are not entirely ethical. Questions arise: can any operation that commodifies life to this extent truly be called sustainable? The answer isn't simple. Some environmentalists say snake farming prevents wild depletion, while animal rights groups argue that it normalizes unnecessary cruelty in the name of luxury. Once the snakes reach maturity, the transformation process begins. After humane killing protocols, as the industry claims, the skins are stripped, cleaned, and soaked in chemicals to preserve their unique scale patterns. The tanning process is meticulous. It can take weeks or even months, depending on the desired finish. The workers use a mix of ancient techniques and modern chemistry to soften the hide without losing the distinct geometric pattern of the scales. It's this pattern, unpredictable, natural, and irreplaceable, that makes snake leather such a prized material. The next step is coloration. Dyes and pigments are carefully mixed to either enhance the natural colors or create something entirely new. In some high-end operations, the dyeing process is done by hand, with artists painting each piece to bring out depth and texture. This is where art meets science. Every decision, from the thickness of the paint to the type of polish, determines how the final bag or shoe will look under store lights in Paris, Milan, or New York. What began as something primal now becomes a symbol of affluence. However, what most people don't see is the human element that drives this industry. The workers, often from small towns, have honed their skills over generations. Many come from families that have worked in tanning or crafting for decades. Their livelihoods depend on this trade, and despite the moral controversy surrounding exotic leathers, they take pride in their artistry. For them, transforming something raw and wild into an object of beauty is both heritage and survival. They are the unsung backbone of a billion-dollar luxury industry. Snake leather production, when done irresponsibly, can lead to water pollution due to chemical runoff from tanning. As you watch the final products being assembled, the shimmering bags, sleek belts, and glossy boots, it's hard not to be struck by the contrast. These items, often selling for thousands of dollars, once slithered through muddy forests or tropical wetlands. Now, they lie on velvet shelves beneath bright lights. The transformation is astonishing, almost poetic. Each stitch, each polished stroke tells a silent story of metamorphosis, from nature's wilderness to humanity's elegance. The future of this industry is uncertain. On one hand, luxury demand continues to grow, especially in Asia and Europe. On the other, digital fashion, synthetic alternatives, and rising animal welfare awareness threaten to reshape it entirely. Some companies are already experimenting with lab-grown exotic leathers that replicate the exact scale texture without harming animals. If perfected, this innovation could mark a revolution. Luxury without guilt, opulence without blood. But until that future becomes mainstream, the snake leather factory remains a vivid symbol of our complicated relationship with nature. It's a place where craftsmanship and controversy coexist, where art emerges from the most unexpected sources. Watching the process from start to finish evokes a strange mix of admiration and discomfort. Admiration for human creativity, discomfort for its moral cost. In many ways, this story mirrors humanity's larger journey, our drive to create beauty, even if it means taming and transforming the natural world. The Snake Leather Factory is not just an industrial space. It's a reflection of our collective paradox. We crave connection to nature, but also seek to conquer it. We celebrate authenticity, yet reshape it to fit our idea of perfection. And in the gleam of that final polished handbag, you see not just luxury, but the entire story of human ambition, beautiful, flawed, and endlessly fascinating.